We say good morning right now to friend of the program, attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, founder of TexasDefenseFirm.com. Thank you for joining us, Jeremy, this morning. A big, huge day for the Supreme Court and some rulings on Friday. Can you pinpoint the biggest one? It's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, good morning, Carly. Yeah, they have the end of their term. It's like the last day of school for them, and they just kind of slap out 5, 10 opinions and just sort of let all of us deal with it. The headline grabber is obviously the one on universal injunctions. It was in conjunction with this birthright citizenship. Basically, a lone federal judge will no longer be able to shut down an executive order nationwide. That's the headliner here.
And it's not really that, I mean, this isn't really their supporting or not supporting the birthright citizenship itself, right? It's just the fact that they're basically telling these lower courts, hey, man, y'all got to ease up a bit.
That's exactly right. The administration didn't even argue the constitutionality of the birthright citizenship, and we may never get an answer from the Supreme Court on that specific question. The administration just appealed up. They said, look, this one judge can't block the entire nation. And it goes back to the act of Congress that established the judiciary's powers all the way back in the 1700s. And courts have, over time, just simply taken for granted that a single federal judge can do this. But what the court said is, look, you have to have what's called standing. That means a court can resolve a controversy between the people who are in front of it, and that's essentially it. I can't sue necessarily for everybody in the country, and it's a very controversial stance. And there's been a lot of criticism of it, and the dissent took a real hard aim at this, too. A lot of strong language on both sides.
Yeah, that was pretty fascinating. I want to get into that in a minute. We're speaking live with attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, founder of Texas Defense Firm. But we're checking traffic and weather. We're going to come right back to Jeremy right now, though, at 6:21. A busy morning already on the freeways. We check in once again with Julie DeHarding. All right, Jeremy, back to you now. Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, founder of TexasDefenseFirm.com. I just have to get this out to you. How did it get to the point where we had activist judges appointed by a previous administration who were not elected by anyone, and suddenly they had, even though for a brief moment, they had more authority and more power than the duly elected president of the United States? I'm not a legal person, you are, so can you explain to us how we got here?
It's a check and a balance, isn't it? Because think of it like this. The U.S. Supreme Court could shut down a law like that if they didn't like it. If the U.S. Supreme Court said birthright citizenship is no good, they could shut it down for everybody. They could. And by extension, the appellate court could do it. And in theory, the lower court can do it. And in your remedy, if you were the executive branch, would be to appeal it if you lost at those lower levels. And what you're seeing, Carla, is what you're seeing functionally is your legislature not being able to get along. Because you're seeing more executive orders being passed and being signed because Congress can't get out of its own way. So when you have the executive branch, the plaintiffs, the people who are challenging these laws would tell you the executive is acting not as the person executing the law. They're now legislating, and so we have to have some way of shutting it down. That's what their argument would be. And again, going back to the 1700s, the laws have nobody's ever really challenged this. The president who has done more than anybody was FDR, probably because he was the president the longest. He had the most executive orders of anybody. And what you see is because you have when you go to the hoop as much as they're doing, you're going to draw a lot of fouls. That's just why you've seen this issue come to a head. But this is very good news for the administration, and we're going to see now how bullish they get with some of these executive orders. Are we now going to see more of them now that they can't simply be shut down nationwide by a singular judge?
I think that was my next question is, now that we've seen this, we're talking to Jeremy Rosenthal, founder of TexasDefenseFirm.com. Jeremy, do we Do we think that this will have an impact on what happens moving forward? Will this help President Trump's agenda?
Between this opinion and last summer's Trump v. United States, the executive branch has never been more powerful, and that's a good thing until it's not. Go back a year. If this was true, if this opinion was in place last year, student loan debt would not be canceled nationwide, because federal judges blocked Joe Biden's student loan cancellation nationwide, and it wouldn't have been that way had they had this opinion been in place. What you would have seen, because it was the states who sued to block the federal loans being canceled, what you would have seen is people in functionally blue states would have their loans canceled, and people in conservative states where the AGs protested it would not be canceled. So it does lead to some kind of odd results. So it's a great idea until it's not.
Absolutely. We will have you on again. It's always fascinating. Attorney Jeremy Rosenthal, founder of TexasDefenseFirm.com, live with us on WBAP this morning. Jeremy, as always, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Carla.